guess I'm having a conversation with somebody that I
Yeah, but you said it rubbed off on you because
did.
you ended up talking to some random people on your own.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Under the Influence. This is season 5, episode 8.
I think so.
I always look at Levi.
We said
to confirm
7
it.
last time.
Well, then it's 8. We're so glad to be with you. We love doing this podcast, and we are so grateful to get to do it. The Lord has been so good to us, and we hope that you continue to enjoy it. As you're noticing, Jarrett looks very different. Just kidding. You
So
are noticing
all
a return guest.
All those things we said last time, really rubbed off.
Like what?
He's a new man.
Oh, you mean when we, kicked him or whatever you said we were going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Mr. MikeyNoodles.
Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome back. It's great to be back.
It's great to be back.
great to be back. I know. It looks great in here. Love it.
Doesn't it? Yeah, last
Looks
time
like
you
a
were
new
here,
studio.
it was the last episode we ever recorded with the old set
Yeah.
here at this studio. And it was the one where, we had awkwardly crammed ourselves into the corner of the room for literally no reason. Just because,
We thought it would look better.
you know that story where it's like, it's usually a sermon illustration, but it's a story of the way that someone cooks their Thanksgiving ham or whatever, and they always cut one portion of it off. Have you heard that thing?
Like the Who Ham and Dr. Seuss?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe. I don't know if that's where it came from. But it's like a sermon illustration about not just doing things because people before you have done them, but actually have good reasons. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, okay. Had the grandma always had to, cut a ham to get it to fit in her oven, and the great-great-granddaughter is doing the same thing and she has no idea why. Well, it's basically the same thing was why we were filming that way, because at the old studio, we didn't have a choice, and we moved it here, and we were like, all right, shove everything in the corner. Mm-hmm. And then when we were setting up for the season, we were like, wait a second. I think we could just turn it
Yeah.
45 degrees and it would look way better. So, yeah, it's awesome.
It looks great in here.
Thanks.
Before we get started, I want to publicly apologize to your wife for keeping you an extra couple of hours when we filmed that episode.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry said, yeah, it'll be about an hour. And I think it was 3 hours we were sitting here talking and yucking it up.
I think it was, it was like 2 hours.
And your
and
phone
20
kept
minutes.
going off and going off. And I was like, oh, no. I'm in so much trouble.
My phone was going off because she was like, hey, where are you? What's going on? And I think I texted her and so it was fine. But then also it's because we had agreed to have dinner at my dad's house that night. And so you remember at the very beginning, my dad called me and was like, hey, you guys still on for dinner?
Yeah, he's on the episode, I think.
Yeah, we phoned him in. But he's like, you guys still coming over to dinner? I was like, yeah, well, we are, but I'm definitely going to be late. Can we push it back 30 minutes? And then I blew past that by an hour. So
It's my fault.
No, it's not your fault, dude. That was a great episode. It was also, it took us forever to get set up and get started. So we got started and only had 45 minutes or an hour to record that.
Your
So-
45 minutes turned into 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's amazing the
It was a
kind of
2
work
hour.
you guys put in. I mean, we've just been sitting here watching, and it's for people that don't know what it goes on behind the scenes. They can find.
And I mean,
that
this was pretty
somewhere, right?
smooth.
There's not we don't have a full, behind the scenes, start to finish, setting up the podcast, for
We
the
should
day.
put that on the
But we
Patreon.
should. That's a good idea. But yeah, Patreon, we have some behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, great plug, Mike. You're such a natural.
Wow.
Yeah, go check out patreon.com/Christian Influence. There hasn't been a lot of new content on there lately, but there has been some. So yeah, you can see some behind the scenes, especially if you're a fan of our D&D podcast of Lore and Legend. We've got some cool stuff there. And soon we'll have some cool bonus episodes that will only be available there, at least for a while. They'll only be available there. And they're pretty cool. They're like origin episodes for the characters. So
Yeah, stuff
That's
I don't
sick.
even know about.
that's sick.
That's sick, bro.
Yeah. Mike is a huge of Lore and Legend fan, right?
I like it. I enjoy it.
Wait, have you listened to it?
A couple, yeah.
You actually
Oh,
have?
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't think
It's
that
really
you did.
fun on the Discord, like when people are
Yeah.
listening together with
Yeah.
Richard and stuff.
That's true.
And you stop, and people can talk about it, and you go get your popcorn, and it's fun. It's a really fun community thing.
I think so too. It's probably my favorite event that we run in the Discord, and it is
Discord.com.
people are sleeping on it.
Wait, no,
man.
discord.gg
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
/Christian Influence.
Yep, discord.gg/Christian Influence. You can find a channel there about this show and a channel about our other show where you can chat with other people, other fans of the show about it. You can also send us suggestions. So this season, we're doing question and answer suggestions there. There's a suggestion box you can go to or a thread. And there's also a meme review thread where you can send in your memes that you want us to review. That segment has gone over surprisingly well. I've been very surprised because every time we film it, I'm like, that was awkward, kind of cringy, and we didn't really laugh enough. And then people are like, multiple
There are a few
people.
that are gold.
Sure, but it's like my thing about that is like, then if they're gold, then the memes themselves, that people can just go look at the memes. I don't think we're adding much to them, right? But I don't know.
Reviews have been popular for a long time,
Yeah.
though.
And I don't think we're really, I think we're kind of the bottom of the barrel when it comes to meme reviews. Not to speak just ill of ourselves, but I have not found it to be like, there's no way that we're really adding anything to this. But they're speaking with their dollar or their vote, or you're voting with their dollar, or whatever you want to call it. Because like multiple people have said, hey, is the next episode a meme review? And I've been like, no, we do that every few episodes. They're like, man, that was such a good episode, meme review.
I'll get back on my meme
Send in your
game for
memes
you
if you want good meme episodes.
Yeah, send us good memes.
Meme episodes.
You've got a bunch of memes you said?
I'll get back on the grind, yeah.
Good. We need a bunch more memes about why Calvinism is the best or whatever.
I was going to say we can start having some major theological...
Yeah.
Make
Where we just dunk on Calvinism the entire time.
No. No.
Yeah, I'll join you.
Dude, I am in a group that I feel so out of place in that group, but there's this Telegram group that you added me to,
Yeah.
And it's because most of the memes in there are dunking on Baptists. So like I already get that in the Discord.
Dunking on Baptist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, usually we're doing the dunking ourselves, but yeah, you guys are a big fan of the sprinkling. But we dude. But you
Off
guys
the elbow.
are all the same,
Awesome, baby.
and I'm the odd one out. And
There's a couple of people that are like...
Are
you.
they? Okay. Then we don't
They
send
keep
memes
themselves quiet.
because for a reason. But yeah, usually in Christian Influence, I'm already seeing a lot of those memes from you and a couple of the other guys, and I think they're funny. They don't bother me. But then in that one, it just feels there's like 6 guys in that group, right?
No, there's like 20.
Oh, all right. Never mind. I thought there was just there's just like maybe 6 that I actually see active. or
Yeah, there's
something.
6 that
Okay.
post.
And then I'm always like, oh yeah, so is this just a Calvinist echo chamber that I'm in?
It's the only way that it prospers.
That I happen to be
well,
there.
it's predestined to be there. So
Yeah, but well, so was I guess. But I think it's funny.
Because
So,
of my choice, so...
but yeah, but I should post some. Maybe I should post some super Baptist memes, or just post a bunch of like memes about Baptists being fat. Like that's the thing. Like, dude, one of my favorite ones is the Master Chief. Master Chungus or whatever, where it's like him, and it's like me rolling up to a Baptist picnic or something. I don't know,
He
but
can't
it just
fit in
uses
his
that.
armor.
Yeah, it's so funny, so funny. I didn't know that a thing about Baptists was that we don't drink alcohol. Have you heard
What?
that?
Yeah. It's something like the difference between a Baptist and a Presbyterian is one says hi to you at the liquor store.
And the other one's like shading their face from the cameras or whatever.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I know all of my like great aunts and uncles. They all drink, but they all secretly drink and don't tell each other, except for like 2, like in pairs.
Well, now they know.
They drink.
Yeah, really blown up.
Dude,
One of your aunts or uncles is
But-
watching us being like, "What?"
but it's just wild because we'll go into a house and then there will be like someone will open a cabinet and there's just all these like bottles of wine,
It's so funny.
and then it just gets shut and nobody discusses it because they're too afraid to talk about it. They all do. None of them care anymore. Like they were all brought up that alcohol is bad,
Right.
so don't drink at all. So then they just hide it from each other, even though they're all cool with it. It's just a funny little thing. And then they'll like drink when they're paired up, but when it's like more than 2 people, they can't bring up alcohol.
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, no, that's just funny.
But they were all raised Methodist.
Okay.
Interesting.
Or no, not Methodist. What am I talking about? Mennonite.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah,
That would make
not
more
Methodist.
sense. Yeah.
I think Mennonites are based.
Yeah,
A lot of times they're good. They're
Super-
great neighbors.
Yeah, I bet.
incredible neighbors.
I mean, they're like 1 or 2 steps removed from the Amish usually too. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
like they've got some of the cool stuff about being Amish
with being able to,
without the like, you might be 1 step away from being a cult. That kind of part.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a guy out here. There's a YouTuber named Wrangler Star.
Oh, is he out here? Yeah.
Oh, you know of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives really close to Portland, I guess. Like, well, once you get into the country near
that
Portland.
explains it.
Yeah. Yeah, his outfits, dude.
He's pretty cool. I mean, I like
but
his stuff.
I mean,
but-
like sometimes you can tell it's like you're a guy that lives in Oregon country.
Yeah.
Like the country or in Oregon, you know.
Yeah, we've been trying to pick out what it is about people who live in Oregon or the PNW in general.
Who's we?
Me and my fiance. I guess we're just sharing big secrets. It's not really a secret. But
Yeah,
you're blowing up people.
his family are closeted alcoholics. And, no.
They're not alcoholics. They just drink alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I
well,
thought
I
you
have
were
a lot
just
to
going
say
to
about.
say her name.
Yeah, I thought you were just gonna say her name, but
Cat's
she
out
just
of the bag now.
I mean, since we're all talking about secrets, I gotta bring up one.
Jabba the Hutt over here. All right, what were you saying?
Job of the Hutt.
Well, I was saying that. So Angie and I are driving around, meeting people, and spending a lot of time here and having fun. And it's like, it's interesting how people in Oregon, like Oregonians,
Oregonians, yeah.
they're like chill and nice, but also like really kind of like campy, maybe not really campy, but like
Can't be like we camp or can't be like we're.
both.
Got it.
Like they make a lot of funny, weird, odd jokes and stuff like that. Like the whole like Portlandia thing is totally true, you know, and like that's spread out to the rest of it. It's just like
I don't really know what the Portlandia thing is.
Like Portland's just weird,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you know. But like
We are weird.
people, like
Portland.
we were sitting at the, you know, people. Some guy had like one of those Halloween skeletons like in the dumpster, and it was kind of funny. It's just like, and I see stuff like that all the time around here.
We did drive by a place today that had one. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was in the hoop, the basketball hoop.
I didn't see that one.
It
No,
was just like crumpled up in it.
it's just
Yeah.
goofy stuff like that all over the place, and yeah, people
I
are
believe
super nice. I mean, we met some really nice guy yesterday who we're standing there looking at rocks in his rock shop, and in 5 minutes he just starts like talking to us about like trauma that he had been through growing up and all this stuff with his dad and
People
with his
love
kids
talking
and
about
stuff like
trauma in
that.
Oregon.
And it turned out we think he was a believer, you know, and we're
cool.
just talking to him about stuff. And it was really encouraging to hear what he's doing to like give back to the community in so many ways. Right.
Wow.
And like, and we kind of shared with him about what I was doing, like why I'm here for the satellite gaming stuff, which I think we'll talk about. And he was like, oh, well, thank you guys so much. That's so cool that you guys are doing that. And
Wow.
it's really good and encouraging to meet people who are also like just trying to live in the world and live here as the refugees that we are, right? Like, and help other people like be joyful, like the joy that we have in the Lord, and get to see that from other people. And
Yeah.
it's nice when you get those random encounters with encouraging people, you know. that you
Yeah,
just encourage
man, I
each
should have
other.
followed you around while you're here. I never have those out here.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm
it's
just
it's this weird thing. Like people just talk to me a lot of times.
People do.
I don't know.
You're very inviting. Like you kind of give off that air of, like, hey, talk to me. Also because you talk to people.
I do talk to a lot of people.
Yeah. Remember when we were in Orlando, I was like, man, Mike, you just like talk to people in a way that I,
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
yeah,
Because that happened. We were in Orlando to a bunch of people.
yeah. We're just walking around and I'm just like minding my business and you're just like, you know, there's a person walks 15 feet away and you're like, oh, you just happen to magnetize that direction.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, come talk to me and my friend Jerry over here. I'm like, well, I guess I'm having a conversation with somebody that I
Yeah, but you said it rubbed off on you because
did.
you ended up talking to some random people on your own.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks. It's something that I admire about you. And I walked away from that trip being like, man, that's a way I should be more like Mike. It's just walk around and be like smiley and talk to people like in public, random people, and you know. Well, this was me hand delivering the gospel to them.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I tried it. Like that day we were there, I was in a really good mood, and I was like, I'm not gonna just say that I should be more that way and that I admire that about Mike. And so I just walked around that day and talked to a bunch of people and met basically everybody I met was a believer that I
That's
talked
so
to too.
cool.
I was like,
yeah.
whoa, it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are like afraid to talk about their faith or
Mm-hmm.
just to talk to other people, and like most people are very friendly and nice. Like,
Yeah.
rarely will you meet somebody who's a jerk, and when you do, okay, fine. Like you walk away. There's almost nothing wrong or bad that's gonna happen to you for
for
most
talking to a jerk.
for talking
Yeah.
to a random stranger,
Oh,
and
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
being nice and saying hello and giving them a smile or
America.
whatever. And, well, yeah, I mean,
As opposed to what?
You know, countries where bringing up that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Did you move the thing I had sitting right here?
Oh, I did.
All right.
Did you want it?
I totally did, but not right now.
Whatever. We'll just leave
Well, I had it
up
like
then.
hidden, but, you know.
Okay.
Joel, cut that out. Just kidding. Oh,
Why would Joel cut it out? How do I do that?
so Shibs, our producer Shibler, is not here. He's usually here, but we're recording this episode at an odd time when he couldn't be here. So my younger brother, Joel. You're getting
Wave,
a shout
Joel.
out. You're getting wave to us,
Wave.
Joel.
Joel's awesome.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was good.
Joel is awesome. He picked it up very naturally. I just trained him on how to do Shib's job, and he's filling in as a temporary producer. So you make sure you tell Shibs how much better it looked this time. And
Yeah.
no, he's doing a great job. Thank you, Joel. You're a rock star. We got an awesome
We got
thumbs
a
up.
thumbs up,
One of those cool ones where he's not looking. You know,
That's always
Mike
cool
does that
when
all
you
the
do
time.
Well, he's got to pay
Oh,
attention
He
to his
just
work.
dabbed. He dabbed and thumbs up.
Bring back
Yeah.
dabbing.
Bring it back. Last episode
Dude, you did.
I purposely sneeze dabbed
yeah.
to bring it
Nice,
back. Yeah,
dude.
nice. Yeah. Oh, I've also been told to tell you on the show. So I was talking to your friend Nathan from the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to him
Hello,
earlier,
Nathan.
and I was like, telling him that we were going to record a podcast episode, and I said, "Hey, did you watch the one that he did with us last time?" He goes like, "No, he just told me about it and didn't send me a link." I was like, "What? That sounds odd." So I sent him a link, and then we were talking, and he's
That's what
like,
he calls me.
"He calls you Michael."
He calls you Michael?
Really? That's funny. Does your family call you Michael?
Rarely.
Rarely. It's like when you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only want to do it when, so it'll, make you unsettled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I'm in trouble. My mom calls me
Gerald?
Geronimo. Yeah, all three of those actually.
At once?
No, that would be demonic. Just opens her mouth and
Three different voices.
distinct words come out at the exact same time.
3 voices.
No, he said to tell you hi. That's what he said.
Aw, I love Nathan. Hi, Nathan.
There's your shout out, Nathan. You know who you are. And oh wait, what's his cat's name? Fudge.
Yeah,
He
Fudgy.
said, he's like, yeah, didn't Mike shout me out on that episode? I said, yeah, I think he did. He goes, well, just shout out my cat this time. So shout out to Fudge, the cat.
Fudge is kind of famous. I mean, a bunch
Is
of
he?
people on the Discord know Fudge.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's true. Because, yeah, he talks about him in the Discord. It's so cool. I'm so glad Nathan's in the Discord.
Mhm.
guy.
Nathan's been, he's been there a long time.
Yeah. One of the
One of
OGs.
first. Yeah, he is actually one of the OGs there, which is
Yeah.
great.
He showed up while I was still working for my dad at the kettle corn company.
Mhm.
That was
Because
a
I
long time
remember
ago.
often bagging kettle corn at our shop and then looking over at my phone and seeing messages from Nathan come in those early days and then responding and doing some
Yeah.
discussion with people. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. One of the cool things about this ministry, we've got to see people. Honestly, we're years into it now, so we've got a lot of examples like that of people that we're just seeing them live, in some ways on the internet and grow and change and stuff.
Yeah,
pretty
it's a
cool.
real blessing to be a part of people's lives in such a weird way, too, you know?
In
Like,
such a weird way.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like, it's very strange that I'm here right now.
Yep.
It actually is,
Not in the way that Levi means, but yeah.
What? Not in the way that I mean?
I thought you were going to go really hard. Like,
Oh, no.
yeah, dude, it's really weird and creepy that you're sitting next to me right now.
Well, there's that too, but I was just going to say,
I'm
That's
sorry.
why we're
That's my
separated.
fault, yeah.
That's why we're separated.
10 years ago, this would have not happened.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember having...
Since you were like 16.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But
I was just going to say, I remember, like, having friends 10 years ago on these games, like
Yeah.
RuneScape and stuff like that. I met a lot of people and, like, got
Like
to
you
know people really well.
Met up in real life with some of them or no?
I never got to do that, but I wanted to.
Was it,
I'm talking, I guess I'm more like 20 years ago, so I don't want to
if it was RuneScape, then
date myself.
yeah, at least 15.
I wouldn't want to date you either.
Got
No
him.
offense.
Wow.
Good thing I never have to date again.
Nice.
Well,
Well, no,
every
that's not
single
true.
day.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, yeah.
plan to date my wife every single day.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
No, the like meeting people in real life that you met on the internet thing, it's more normalized now than it was then for sure. But I think it's almost more dangerous now than it was before because, like a market in business, right? Like the more people that are aware of it and the more people are going to do that. Well, like the dangerous things people are doing by meeting up on the internet, it's more widespread now, I think. But it's also easier to
It's a lot easier to
be
catfish
aware of it.
people.
Yeah. but also more people are aware.
But
of
also more people
catfishing,
are
so-
aware of being catfished.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like what Levi was saying. You know, this wouldn't have happened in the past. I was after Monday when we went hiking. When we were on the way back, I was just talking to Perry. Like, man, it's just like such a special thing to me that we got to be with you guys and go just like meet up, even just to do that, right? But to be with you guys and go hiking and doing stuff. And then I was like, man, I have this friendship. Like, I have multiple wonderful friendships in my life, but I have one of those wonderful friendships is one that, like, I think I probably said this in the last episode, but like I never would have had if not for the internet.
Yeah.
Right? Like, God has done some pretty cool things, and one of them is I have this awesome friend that I never would have had, right?
I love
And
you,
so does
Jerry.
Levi.
Yeah.
And
It's
and
not
I
like I'm
love you
saying
too,
you're
Levi.
not my friend. I just don't. I say that multiple times. throughout the podcast.
I
He
was.
was staring at me like death stare.
You're replacing me.
No, I was more making the joke that you're Mikey's friend.
You are my friend.
Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
was the joke that I was trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't land very well.
And
No,
it's like,
it got more confusing for me.
No, it did.
But that's just me.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I was gonna say like that's like, I was talking with this about Angie, that this is like kind of the example of what we want Christian influence to be.
Yes,
Gaming with people, yeah, right. And it's like,
we're the archetype.
Yeah, we seek to be We seek to be an example
Yeah.
of what we preach and teach, right?
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
Christ was for
Walk
us.
the walk.
And then it's just like we didn't intend for that to happen, but it
No,
just,
I tried
like-
not to. Just kidding.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like we make these friends on Christian influence, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well now you're involved in their life, and like be involved. It's cool to be involved in people's lives, and it can blossom into an awesome friendship where you're like
Yeah.
flying across the country for each other's weddings and hanging out and spending time, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you guys, and it's a great time.
I love
Like,
you.
This has been probably the best week of my life here, and
Less probably because of us.
Oh,
I hope.
I mean, you guys had a big part, and also like this is the first week it's ever been sunny in Oregon.
Every time you've been here,
It
even
has
for my
been
wedding.
miserable. Yeah.
The first you've been here. This is the third time, right?
Third time, yeah.
Yeah. The first time he was
Yeah.
here, it was for when Perry and I got married, and yeah, on our wedding day,
Oh,
it was
just
cloudy,
wasn't
which is
sunny.
kind of what you want for it to be a little cloudy for pictures and stuff. But
And then when you
but
were
it did
out,
sprinkle just before the
Maybe.
wedding.
when you were out for multiply school, it was just cold and cloudy.
Cold and
Yeah.
cloudy, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't
Well,
sunny.
plus school was gross.
Well, no, we've talked really good about it here. So.
Weather-wise, though.
Well, plus school
But
was
the
awesome.
weather-wise,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to catching up with some of those students.
That will be cool.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that Kyler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be-
Kyle's gonna be streaming.
Sweet Olajuwon.
Sweet
Olajuwon.
Olajuwon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll be streaming Friday.
Yeah, I'm excited. There was something I was going to say
Yeah.
about you. I don't remember.
That
Whatever.
hooligan.
It's a bummer. It was something, it was really profound, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I'll say about
So
it.
profound that I forgot about it.
Yeah, really good. It's really good. I hope it comes back to me. But instead of that, Levi, I have a question for you. So when Mike was here last time,
Yep.
I asked him a very special question, and it was inspired by him, the noodle guy. And I asked him what noodle he identified with, if he had to choose. Like, what's a noodle, which really embodies him? And since you're here, because you didn't get to be on the episode he was on, since, you're part of the reason why I had a ring to even propose to Perry. That was the thing I was going to say. Because you're an awesome dude. I've never talked about it on the podcast, but I wanted to say. Last time, I asked Mike that question. It was, what noodle do you identify with, right? Because he's MikeyNoodles, right?
Yeah.
And I had an answer for it. So, Levi, you
what were your
wanted
guys'
to be
answers?
You wanted to be on that episode, but you were at Multiply School.
Yeah.
But what were our answers?
Yeah.
Do you remember what your answer was?
Angel hair.
Angel hair. So, just legendary answer right there.
And your ravioli?
I was ravioli because it's square and full of cheese, just like me.
That's
Square
incredible.
full of cheese. The whole reason I asked you that was to tell that stupid joke. That episode, by the way.
That's what it was.
I thought about it in the car. I was like, "Oh, that's a good joke. I'm gonna just."
It
bring
was a
that
good
up."
joke.
Yeah, just
Square
go
and full
for
cheese.
it.
Dude, I've got no idea what kind of noodle I would be.
No, not what kind of noodle would you be? What noodle do you identify with? It's like it's the noodle you're uncomfortable eating because it's so much like you.
Okay, the noodles that I'm most uncomfortable with eating, the ones that I'm the most uncomfortable with, are the little ones that are like, they have like whatever symbol, like when they try to make them be like little like mascots of whatever character it is.
Yeah, they always taste bad.
They taste awful every single time, but they also the consistency is just terrible.
How are those similar to you?
Talking like
but
the
they're
knockoff
not.
Kraft.
I'm just saying. You said the ones that make you most uncomfortable. 100%.
Yeah.
But the
That was the
dinosaur
joke.
ones.
The dinosaur ones.
Dinosaur ones? I don't know if I've ever had dinosaur noodles.
They're like the mac and cheese ones, but they're shaped like dinosaurs.
There you go.
I've not had those.
Well, there's the answer. That's the kind of hard-hitting stuff that we like to do on Under the Influence here.
Yeah.
This podcast is about pushing you to be in a closer relationship with Jesus as we push each other. And those are the sorts of questions that I want to highlight. So you let us know in the comments.
It just works.
What noodle do you identify with?
No, what noodle makes you the most uncomfortable to eat?
Or that, because that's also the one that's most like you. Levi is a lot like those noodles. I've got a special segment, and this is why I wanted this remote here. Because I want to change the lights to red.
Ooh.
Hope that looks all right on screen. I'm going to change these ones as well. I have to reach under your butt real quick. Got it. Boom.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. It's a remote.
We'll find a way to do it another way someday where I don't have to... But for today, that's all that matters. We're going to have a recurring segment here, cult or hypothetical.
Oh, no.
And Mike's never got to be on this segment. Joel just gave us like, grr. So cult or hypothetical, it's a special segment, special to me because I came up with it. It was born out of an episode. We were talking, joking, about a cult, like, is it real? And then we came up with this word, hypothetical. And so do you know how this game works?
Yeah, you describe something, and I tell you if it's a cult or not.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So you're going to get two. We're going to play it the OG rules, right? The original rules, vanilla. So you're going to get two prompts. I'm going to read them both. Know that one of them is a real cult, and one of them is a fake cult of my creation, a hypothetical cult.
Is it an active cult?
Well, you'll have to hear. I mean, whether some of them, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But I have rewritten them. I've written them both in my own words, right? So hopefully, like it's they should both sound like me telling you about them. But one of them, it's entirely true. Okay, make sense?
Makes sense.
No.
And we have a running scoreboard here right now. I'm at a loss.
2-0.
I have no points. Levi is at 1 point.
I'm at 2-0.
He's only played once.
No, I got 2 correct.
You did not.
No, I got 2 right.
Then they're all worth 2, which we agreed that they wouldn't be. Levi,
I fought the entire time for them both to be, all of it to be worth 2.
You said jokingly that it should, and then we all agreed that it shouldn't. And then as soon as you won, you said,
no, I would have gone with 0 and 2 because
Yeah, you're right. So the way this will work, so that I can continue to play and get points. If I fool whichever one's, like if I fool you, I get a point. If I fool both of you, I get 2 points towards our score.
That sounds fair.
Or I can just
sweet.
be, or
So
I can make it harder.
So me getting a point means that you don't get a point. So that puts me like 2 ahead.
Yeah. It works in your favor that way, or works in my favor if I fool both of you.
Yeah.
So I am taking a risk here.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Do they count
right.
as losses?
Do they count as losses? Well, we aren't doing negative points. So yes, I would get no point, which would be equivalent with a loss.
Okay.
So you want me to say whatever the opposite is that you say?
To make sure it evens
If you
out.
want to try and win, sure. Oh, but yes.
Well, there's no negative points.
but yes.
So, yeah. So I will read it, and you guys will
I
guess.
didn't get what you were asking me about first, but
Usually you
dude,
don't.
Let's game it.
So, cult or hypothetical? Starting with the first one. The Branch Davidians. Founded by David Koresh in 1959, the Branch Davidians were originally part of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, but split off when Koresh claimed to have a divine revelation that he was the Messiah and that all women were destined to be his elect spirit wives. This led to Koresh establishing essentially an equivalent to prima nocta. He had the right to wed any and all women that were in the cult. In 1993, the Branch Davidians gained notoriety after being the center of a 51-day standoff. It didn't end until escalating to tear gas and tank involvement, bringing the standoff to a dreadful conclusion with the compound catching fire and the deaths of 76 members and 4 officers. All right. Clear on all the facts?
Yep.
Number 2, Visualize. Founded in the late 70s by Timothy Farragut and now directed by his assistant Jason Cooper after Farragut's death, Visualize is based in Kern County, California. The organization is built on principles of self-actualization and heightened emotional regulation. It claims to use electromagnetic diagnoses of the body's spiritual auras to determine a member's future potential and claim that potential through the powers of the 6 dimensions. Likely also born out of the New Age spiritualist movement, along with organizations like Scientology, Visualize claims that the eyes are the key to the door to the 6 dimensions of reality. More recently, Visualize has gained notoriety for its possible involvement in the disappearance of Richard Simmons in 2014 and its sudden expansion. I know, and its sudden expansion with one of their Vision Clarity Centers opening in Jakarta. What?
This is so funny.
What's so funny? Dude, I know. Richard Simmons. I'm just picturing Richard Simmons like, oh, please, being pulled away.
Into the darkness.
Into the darkness. Or he'd be like, no, please. So, there's the facts of both. Discuss.
They open in Jakarta is what you said in the last one.
The last bit was, these 2 things that they've recently gained notoriety for was the possibility of that disappearance. And then their sudden expansion with one of their Vision Clarity Centers opening in Jakarta.
I didn't know Richard Simmons vanished.
We have a lot of Vision Clarity Centers where I live.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. They give you glasses and
You're talking about like eye doctors?
Yeah.
Vision Clarity Centers? Yeah. No, 2014, Richard Simmons, his TV program just stopped. And nobody knew. People are like, dude, we haven't seen him for 10 years.
The cult got him.
That's the rumor.
Why would they go after Richard Simmons?
Why would you not?
True.
Who else would you go after?
Yeah.
Obviously, man, we gotta kidnap someone big, Richard Simmons.
Well, it's kind of perfect though too because it's
who would
True.
suspect
Yeah.
it?
It may or may not be a kidnapping. I don't know. The things I was looking at just said the possible disappearance of Richard Simmons, and then talked about how in 2014 he disappeared.
I don't know. The first one seems pretty accurate and logical. Too accurate and logical.
Uh-huh.
Too accurate and too logical.
One's true and one's false, right?
Always. One is a cult and one is a hypothetical.
It's Seventh-day Adventists are around here quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen 2 Seventh-day Adventist churches, temples, what are they called?
Yeah, and I don't think they're necessarily a cult. I don't know too much about
I'm not going to
Seventh-day
speak to either
Adventism.
side of that. I have no idea.
Can't remember. I learned about it and I forgot.
They're big fans of the Sabbath.
But it does sound like
I
the
wasn't
Branch
joking.
Davidians are.
Yeah, right.
Huh?
But it does sound like the Branch Davidians are probably a cult.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, both of these, the claim is that both of these are occults.
No, yeah. But, based on their doctrine, they're probably not, Christians.
Oh, meaning that they're not. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that they're probably.
You're going out on a limb here and saying the Branch Davidians
I'm going out on a
not
limb.
good. Not
Branch
good.
Davidians don't
The
sound
things they
like they
did.
were probably.
Prima nocta, not a good idea. Believe IT says.
Hey,
Probably not. I haven't looked into it, but,
Okay, so I go first?
Sure. I mean,
Sure.
you guys have any reasonings here? Is that what you're going for? All right, go for it. Yeah. What do you think? Cult or hypothetical? Which one?
I think the Branch Davidians are the cult.
You think they're the real one?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're too logical, too real, or whatever you said?
Yeah, because people fall for that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like the free sex kind of. Am I allowed to say that on here?
The word sex? Yes.
Yeah. The free sex stuff and like. I mean, yeah.
They
stuff.
do.
They're both great.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're both great. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. MikeyNoodles. They're both great.
Just see a wedding ring fly in from over there real quick, and then the door slam.
No, they're both
Or an
great
engagement ring.
descriptions. It's really tough to tell.
Oh, thanks. I worked really
Yeah.
hard on them.
Yeah, and that's what I was. And I just like the way that it ends with tanks.
Yeah, the tanks.
I mean,
Dude,
if you're
tear gas
running
the
a
71
cult,
people dead and 4 officers.
76
Yeah.
people
76.
if
And
you're
then
running
also-
a cult, it's got to end like that.
Got to end
Dude,
like
if
that.
it doesn't end in a shootout, was it really a cult?
Yeah.
True. Well, I mean, ones that are still around may just eventually end out in a
Yeah.
shootout.
You either end not being a cult or you
Trying
go
to
out
Dark
in
Knight
places.
this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't work out so well.
You end in the shootout like you always should have. Yeah.
What was that?
I'm kind of thinking the other one now because of Jakarta. Like, what a weird random detail to include.
Yeah.
But you're good at writing like that stuff. So I'm sticking with my guns on the first
Sticking
one.
with your guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right though about like how it seems
You
like,
know,
when
but
were saying
you
that
are
people-
right.
No, I'm saying when people fall for that sort of thing, like look at Mormonism, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone, you know, it
we
started
gotta
with this
cut
thing
that. We don't want to get sued.
by the. I'd gladly be sued by the Latter-day Saints.
No, we would not.
Bring it on!
No, we would not.
I don't think we have enough money.
Mormonism is a cult. Changed my mind.
To fight
What are they going to sue
the
me
Latter-day
for?
Saints.
What are they going to sue me for?
Defamation.
Don't ask.
That's not defamation.
We're not defaming
Because
them.
the definition of defamation
We
is
wouldn't
a lie.
we wouldn't be defaming them, but they would, they would have to prove that.
That I lied. It has to be falsehoods that you're speaking about.
But we can't afford that.
Okay, sorry.
Tim,
Mormonism
cut that out.
is not Christianity. Is that better?
I mean, I think it's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
You looked angry at me. Tim, we've said this multiple times. We had a long discussion with Pastor Matt Canary about Mormonism and
we
the
did
history
go
of it
into
and why it
Mormonism.
is a cult.
Did we leave that in?
But I don't think we said Mormonism is a cult. So you can cut that out
for the record.
for the record.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Mormonism, right? People fall for that thing. You know, early it started, you just go, oh yeah, I'm a cool guy. I've got these tablets and I've got this divining rod. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'll follow you till we die. And then he's like, let me marry your wife, and people still were down for it. So
Yeah, it's just
my point was just to say, yeah, your logic was interesting and I enjoyed it.
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Levi?
Yeah. So I think it's, the new age guys, they've got to up their game,
They've got to up their game.
Yeah, to have more fun. They got a lot of a lot of the astral projection, seeing all these aliens and stuff.
Demons.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they are demons. But they got to throw in some more fun.
Oh. They're talking about the people that were into New Age. I was like, well,
What?
that's a harsh statement.
No.
Well, some of them are possessed, certainly.
All right.
Yeah.
But
You were saying.
yeah,
You're saying New Age people need to have more fun.
yeah,
That's just a
You
general
need to have more
statement.
fun with their cults, make them more wild.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would dare to say that they should repent and follow Jesus.
Well,
But
no,
Levi,
I think so too.
No, Levi's going on the record for saying New Age. Have a little more wild and carnal fun.
No, no.
You were about to say the word but.
I was about to say the word but. No, no. I don't endorse them doing more bad things.
Yeah.
But I am gonna have to go along with MikeyNoodles.
Okay.
Say
Meaning
Branch Davidians
it's real.
is real cult, and then the visionaries.
Yeah. The visionaries.
Yeah.
Visionaries in general are cult members.
Yeah.
That's what I was
People
saying.
that look to the future.
Yeah.
People that look with their eyes.
Yeah. Visualize.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah. People that use electromagnetic waves to determine the potential for their future and then claim it using the 6 energies.
Yeah.
6 divine realms. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll reveal it at the end of this episode.
That's pretty good.
That was quick.
Yeah, I had to click each one like 3 times. All right, so Mike,
Yes.
why are you here? Why are you out here back in Oregon again? The first time, I got married, so you were here.
Mm-hmm.
The second time,
This
I was
time-
in multi school, and you were helping lead it.
Mm-hmm. I was a mentor there.
Why are you here this time?
So I also work for a group called Satellite Gaming. They are based out here in Oregon.
Wait,
For them.
I work for them though.
You work for them?
You can't work for them. I work for them.
They're taking over Christian influence. It's slowly infecting us.
We were supposed
I'm
to invade,
surrounded.
but now we're being invaded.
Yeah.
I'm already.
I asked you a question, my bad.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So Satellite Gaming is it's a big ministry that works with students, and they basically trying to introduce students to the gospel through video games and try to meet students where they are. Right. So it's kind of, I don't want to say latchkey because nobody knows what that is. Some of our
Like
older
latchkey
listeners.
kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would kind of think of it as like it's just like an after-school program.
Yeah.
And you play video games with people, and then like pray that you get an opportunity to share the gospel with them. And then this Friday or Thursday and Friday, they're having a big event. So tomorrow, Thursday, they're having a big fundraising dinner, and we like talk about what it is to people and share and everything. And then Friday is it's called the Showdown, and it's a huge video game tournament. They're playing Smash, Fortnite, and Minecraft, I think.
And Rocket League.
And Rocket
League, yeah.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other fun little mini games.
Yeah, there's like carnival games out in the lobby and stuff for people to do.
Yeah. So if you guys, well, they won't be here by the time this comes out. It'll be past. So
It'll be long past, yeah.
Yeah, this episode will come out in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, but if you're a student or you know students, go to Satellite Gaming. Just search for Satellite Gaming or contact me on Discord, and I'll hook you up. And it's interesting to see the overlap between Satellite Gaming and Christian Influence, right? Because they're more focused on like interpersonal relationships with students and mostly meeting people in real life kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there is like I'm really trying to build out the online strategy for Satellite Gaming. And it's so interesting since Christian Influence mostly has an online strategy, and we're trying to go the other way. So it's really cool how the two ministries like really like are very complementary, and I guess or like they work together really well, you know.
Yeah, they do.
And, like we can learn a lot from them, and they can learn a lot from us, and I speak for both sides.
so you have the right to say it.
Yeah, exactly. No one knows who I'm talking about when I say that.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's been very cool to see how God has. I talked Jamie, the executive director, a lot, and fairly frequently. And,
Zeefels.
Zeefels on Discord. And or on everything, I guess. But Jamie and I have talked about how cool it is that, like, in this area of Oregon specifically, but Oregon in general, it's like a hot spot for, it's really like a petri dish of of video game ministries just popping up all over it, right? And it's been super cool. And also, like, Satellite Gaming, sure, was a pretty direct inspiration for Christian Influence. When Matt and I were first talking, like, hey, do we move forward with this being something that's not just a school project and something bigger? And seeing, Satellite Gaming basically walked and then ran so that we could walk and then hopefully someday run, right? Like, because we were always, oh my goodness, this is like the millionth time I've done that. We were like often referring to Satellite Gaming going, well, no, what they're doing is working. When we would second guess, is there a way to use video games honestly in ministry? Like, sure, we believe it, and we've got some examples, but for it to be a full-blown ministry, and we go, well, Satellite Gaming is doing it. And it's going to be different. Like, we're doing exclusively online. But, yeah, I think you said something interesting about Satellite Gaming when you're talking about, you said, having intentional or interpersonal relationships or something like that with people, and then doing that in person, whereas Christian Influence, it's like we're going online and showing that you can have intentional personal relationships with people online, and then hoping to push them into in-person intentional personal relationships, like demonstrating that it can also be done on the internet. And it's not like because someone's stuck on the internet, they're too far gone and they're just not going to have good relationships. It's like go there, build relationships with them, and then push them, right? So I've not thought about that, how it's like Satellite Gaming is doing that part of it, and then they're trying to kind of push into the internet in some ways, right? In ways that would be effective for that ministry, and then we're doing the same thing but in reverse.
Right,
which is
exactly,
cool.
yeah.
I have not noticed that, because I've always seen it as like we're running next to each other. We're in this lane doing basically a very similar thing, but on the internet, and they're doing it. But I have not thought about it in that visual way that we're like kind of also meeting in the middle, which is cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of groundbreaking in a way. Like I've talked to a lot of people that run different Discord communities, online communities, about how to do that, how to like safely, like with safety, introduce people and like involve location. Like we don't have anything like location in our Discord, right? But I've seen somewhere it's like, oh yeah, like you can add a tag of where you live and that kind of thing. And like,
sure.
So nobody really seems to know how to do it well or do it right, and that's kind of why it's like when we first started talking about this for Christian Influence a long time ago, I especially was really gung-ho, like we need to really think about how to get people online, and it's like, well, hold on a minute, like let's talk about this, let's think about this, let's be strategic and try to figure out like the right ways to do it. But I think until we get there and we want to go there, I think it's really important. I think we do need to work on helping people understand sort of the theology behind community, like why it's so important to spend time with your brothers in real life. Like we have a great relationship with both of you guys, but that's been accelerated so much by being able to meet and like see each other in person and stuff. And
Yeah, I wouldn't be as close to you as I am if we had never met in person.
Yeah, right, exactly. And like,
And it grows so much faster. Yeah.
Yeah, go
in
ahead.
person. That's all I have.
Oh,
So.
yeah. I mean, I have good friends online, you know.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And really lovely people and people that, you know, I really want to spend time with and stuff. And like, I hope and pray that I get to like meet them someday, you know. And I know that there's a lot of people on Christian Influence that have like, they've become really good friends with each other. And that's so cool to see. And what a blessing. And like, I'm blown away that like God uses like the stuff that we do to like help people find really good friends. And I just like, you know, and it might not be possible in all situations or circumstances, but kind of helping people like understand what that maybe next step is, you know.
Right.
Not to sound like a weird like a Discord dating server, you know what I mean? Like, and those things do exist.
And we've had people ask if we would do that,
and if we would do that.
Yeah.
Or people try to force that too, and it's like nobody.
No, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think like just trying to help people understand, and it comes to also like the finding churches thing about how important it is to help people like understand why you should find a local church.
Right.
Maybe you don't necessarily believe with everything, and that's okay, you know. And and I think we're working on like a way to help. Levi and I were talking about that earlier today.
Really?
Like
having
maybe like a once a month thing where we meet with people and we do it on Discord and we just go through like how to like, you know, kind of a Christianity 101, how to read the Bible, how to like study, that kind of thing. But also like, I think it'd be cool to go through like what are the Christian doctrines, what are things that you shouldn't budge on, and what are things that are cool to budge on, you know. Like,
cool to budge on.
Well, it's just like,
yeah.
These
perfect
aren't
churches,
you know.
Yeah. I was just gonna say perfect churches don't exist this side of heaven, right?
Yeah.
So if you're struggling to find a church, or if maybe you haven't tried because you looked online for a couple of things, you're like, oh, none of these churches, like, give it a shot, because it's like we're called to be together.
Yeah.
As a body of believers, like that is a commandment, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess people out there, it'd be great to pray for us as the Christian Influence tries to figure out what that looks like and how to work on that theology and how to help people understand like why that's so important. And we all really believe that, and we just need to help kind of take the next step, you know.
Yeah, I think each of us would certainly be examples of people that, you know, God changed our lives radically by bringing us into church in person. Like,
oh yeah,
absolutely. You know, I've talked to you about that. I know the same is true of Levi. Like Levi had that step before I did, and then I got involved at Creekside and just basically like followed Jude and Levi's coattails, being like, all right, that's the church you guys are going to. I'll show up too, and all three of us, like, you know, changed our lives. And it was a big part of it, you know, when I was talking to people like, you know what, I think I want to live my life for God, actually. And I care now. You know, before, I was a Christian, but I think I care now. The thing that would come up was like, well, because I'm around people that also care.
Yeah.
And it's pushing me to care. And I'm with the right people that aren't just like doing church around me. I'm there and they're saying like, hey, be part of the church with us. Mm-hmm. And then taking an interest in my life and then challenging me, you know. And we found that at Creekside, and from my understanding, like you found that at the church you're at.
For sure, yeah.
And so that's, you know, when you say we all three believe in that, I think a huge part of it too is not just obviously fundamentally because Scripture is clear on that, but then too it's like God has demonstrated that to us in a pretty cool way because He changed our lives that way. Mm-hmm. So I think a really effective tool that we have, just like an effective tool that we have for sharing the gospel, is our testimony. That personal testimony, I think, is something I try to often fall back on. Is, you know, when I'm talking to people on Discord about, you know, they'll just dog on churches. Often what we hear is like, well, yeah, I know the ideal is that I'm in a church, but they're all terrible, right, or something. And it's well, I would encourage you, you know, to remember that God's word never changes. And so what was true before is still true today, which means, yeah, sure, maybe there's a lot of false churches, but there must also be good ones.
Right.
Or at least, you know, no church is perfect, but ones that are trying, right? And then I think, you know, at times when I've reminded people like, dude, my life, like as much as I wanted, I kept saying, yeah, I want a closer relationship with God. it didn't actually happen until I surrounded myself with fellow believers that were like, okay, if you want that, then we'll help you do that, and also we'll tell you when you're not doing it like you said you wanted to. So yeah, it's why our theme verse is Hebrews 3:13. It's because turn around.
New merch.
Yeah, plug the
Where can they
merch.
get the merch.
Go to Discord, not Discord.
Hebrews
Hebrews 3:13, but exhort one another each day, as long as it is called today, that none of you may become hardened by sin's deception. What are you doing? Exhorting each other. What are you doing? No, stay here. What are you doing? I need you to do this the whole rest of the episode so I can refer to it. What are you doing? Exhorting every person, right? Exhorting each other each day. That's the how often, right? As long as it's called today, which just means every day, right? And then why? Well, because sin is deceitful, right? And it will persuade us, right? We wouldn't sin if we didn't love it. So
Yeah.
It looks so
Didn't
good
say
in
turn around.
that green too.
It does look good in the screen.
And you said get it one size up.
if you get the green,
yes,
apparently it's a little tight.
One size up because it is tight.
Yeah, I misspoke. Not
That's just 'cause
discord.gg.
it's
Go to
so small.
christianinfluence.net and then go to the shop tab. You'll see we've got a bunch of new stuff, but that one is it's the official hoodie for this season, which means there's a direct implication in that sentence. Did you catch it? Right, the subtext, this season, which means after this season you might not be able to get it.
No.
Sorry. I mean, you can get it for me on eBay for
$200.
I was gonna say 600. But
$600. Well, then then go buy one.
Go buy one now and then sell it
He's
for
going to sell it to
$600.
you for $600. Oh,
Then sell it for $500.
yeah, opportunist.
You know,
Don't do that. Don't do any of those things.
undercut the other guy.
Buy one if you want one. And it supports the ministry.
It does.
It helps out a lot. So,
yeah, but yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but yeah, that's
exhorting one another. That's what that's what happens at church, and
Yeah.
that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people think that and when you use words like discipline or accountability and stuff, people sometimes get like a little like skeeved out or like, oh, I don't
skeeved out.
Yeah, but that's how we grow. That's how you grow.
Yeah.
You know? Like you need people in your life who are further ahead on this journey than you that can speak in your life and help you and encourage you and help course correct, right? And then you need to turn around and do that to people who aren't as far along as you, right?
And I think you also need the middle ones, like the ones that are in it with you, It's
yeah.
like, it's way better to work with someone, to work together. So obviously, it's like getting the wisdom from the people that are walking ahead of you, encouraging people behind you, and then also being like, oh, I'm also not doing this alone. I don't just have to feel like I'm like
Great
looking
point.
up and looking back. It's also like, oh, I can look to my left and right, and I'm doing this with others, right?
That was so good.
It worked real well, No, that's one of my favorite verses, and I love the versions that say exhort. Here's my, like the long suffering thing. But I love versions that say exhort because I think it helps us as English speakers, because when we hear the word encourage, we just kind of think it means just like say nice things, just make feel good, right? Which isn't
Just make feel good.
Just make feel good, but it's not what that word there means. And so exhort, it makes us go, wait, what does that even mean? Because we don't use that word exhort, and it's because all those things are lumped into it. It's not just the like, hey, good job, or hey, I really like you, like those, that's part of it or whatever. But like, it's also it's like,
yes or no.
Hey, I really.
it's like the calling
like
up,
you.
right? Which is sometimes hard. And so I like that we purposely used that translation that has the exhort word in there, because I want people to go like, oh, I've never heard that word. What does it mean? And then it makes you realize, oh, the thing that we're being called to do isn't just saying like, you got it, keep living with God. It's also to be like, you said you were going to do this. I'm holding you accountable.
Yeah.
So I love that. Love it.
You said you're moving to Oregon, so when's that going to happen?
Pressure from all sides.
Yeah,
Constantly. It was funny when, I hope I can say this. When we were at Silver Falls walking, it was a really funny moment. And Perry and I just kept laughing about it. We were like kind of just asking, well, do you like the area you live in, or would you actually move? And you were like, no, I like where I live in. And then we asked Angie, what do you think? And then right then she goes, I don't think we're moving in the direction that we should be. and we thought she was referring to her and Mike's relationship. But it sounded
already engaged
so,
at this point, I think.
yeah, you had just proposed like within an hour. It's better than the way I'm telling it too, because I'm like, oh well, like what do you think? Because obviously you're getting married, so like where would you see yourself living someday? You know, could you see yourself living somewhere out here, or do you like where you live? And she's just like, I don't think we're moving in the direction
in the same direction, in the right direction,
in the right
or
direction that we should be. And then I was like, whoa.
Then why did you say yes?
That is such a. I was like, that is such a harsh way. Like you could have said, you know, Mike and I are gonna need to talk about that. And I've been like, oh, all right, I won't bring it up again, you know, or oh, well, you know, but it would have been nicer. I was like, but man, that was a mean way of saying that they don't agree on that. Then we realized, oh, we were just walking towards the dumpsters and not towards the exit that we needed to find. Like,
oh, is that what you were?
That's
even
literally what it was. Yeah,
That's so
I want to make sure I make that clear. It was so funny. So Perry and I just decided I am not going to be the first person to speak after she said that. I'm going to stay totally silent. So there was like,
so you're just silently walking towards the dumpsters?
There were seconds going by of quiet, and I was like, and then she kind of like gestured or something, and I'm like, oh, there's dumpsters. I was like, oh, yeah, we were trying to find the parking lot. Oh my goodness, that's what you meant. Whoa. And then I don't think we revisited it. I don't think I ever actually got the answer to the question, but whatever.
Oh,
it was so funny.
That's incredible.
It was very, very funny. I kept laughing about it. Like we were driving back and I was like, man, that was crazy. Like the tension in the air. Just whoa. It was rough. And then it was, I think it might be the single like greatest example of this I've ever, experienced, of just so much like awkward tension being developed in an instant, and then so quickly that being deflated and me realizing that everything is fine. I don't know if I've ever been in a situation that it's such a great example of being like, oh my God, I don't know if I should say anything, to then that's hilarious. Like it was pretty great. I enjoyed it. So
she's
made my
great.
day.
Yeah. She makes my day.
That's hilarious.
It was great. So you're here in Oregon. Both of you are here in Oregon because Satellite Gaming.
Yep,
doing
I'm
a showcase
here in Oregon too.
Yeah, I was referring. Sorry, but you're always here in Oregon.
Oh, I thought you were referring to those at the table.
My mistake.
She's not at the table.
No, she doesn't have a seat at the table. That's terrible. So, Levi, are you going to be at the fundraiser dinner tomorrow?
I am.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's
there's
awesome.
an open seat at your table.
My table.
At least at Mikey's table. I don't know if
Okay.
that's the same
I thought you were
table
saying
as
I thought you were looking at me. Yeah. I don't know whose table I'm at. Last time I was with people that I've never met before. It was cool.
I love doing that.
Yeah, I think it was probably the best.
Well, Mike,
best thing to do.
you would love doing that.
I do.
You would.
Every
that's
time
awesome.
when I go to those kind of dinners and stuff, or like wedding dinners, I don't know anybody, and then I know everybody really well.
Yeah.
After about an hour.
That's wild.
It was helpful at my wedding because I was like, you're really good at this. Mike, there's a guy that might just not talk to anybody because he doesn't know basically anybody here. Can you go sit with him?
I have already been given that assignment from Z-Fools.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. It's just you're good at that. No, I'm almost willing to put money on the fact that Jamie would not put me at your table. Because like everything we do when we're both
How much
there.
money?
Oh no. Clearly you know you know the seating chart. Don't you? Am I at your table?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because I couldn't, because I wasn't at a table with anybody I knew last time, and I just feel like when we do stuff, he purposely splits us apart because he knows that we already know each other, and it will make me uncomfortable.
It makes you uncomfortable being around your friends?
No, he splits us apart because it makes me uncomfortable to have to talk, to not have a security blanket.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah. I thought you meant that he thought that it made
His
you
hair.
uncomfortable being with him in
Nope.
public.
I meant the opposite.
Yeah. Okay. No,
Yeah,
I get
we got there.
That makes more
So,
sense.
okay, cool. So we'll all be there. That was the point.
Yeah,
we weren't originally going to be there, but now
We're all going to go have dinner tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I mean, I loved that event last time. But, so, you're here. The Showdown, which the name's been changed, right? I'm not crazy. Because it was called a community event.
It is a community event, but it's called the Showdown.
Was it called the Showdown
I
last
think
year?
it was called last year, the Showdown.
I'm
not
pretty
sure.
sure it had a name last year, yeah.
Yeah.
It would
But
make
it is
sense,
it's
but-
the community event, the Showdown.
Yeah.
Like,
It's their big community event that
Yeah.
we do
yeah.
here. At
So the
least.
Showdown,
Mhm.
we're here. You're there.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking forward to? And what are we doing? What's your role at the Showdown this year?
So I'm going to be just walking around talking to students, talking to them about like their Discord usage. Yeah, seeing if people are
Jamie.
online, trying to get people to join if they're on Discord, then to get them to join the satellite gaming Discord.
Nice.
If not, I think I don't know if I'm not going to encourage people to get on unless I can talk to their parents there too.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, and then trying to meet a bunch of the other like club leaders and stuff, and really just talk to whoever is around.
That's awesome.
I'm kind of unprepared because I was going to ship a giant noodle costume, but I forgot about it. I was a little
I don't. This is a long shot, but there is a party city here in town.
There is a Party City.
We're gonna go.
Oh, they were shutting down.
We're gonna go. What? Are they?
I thought that they were shutting down.
Well, it's on Lancaster when it was
Okay.
alive. So unless it's dead, but
That'd be great.
yeah, they might. I don't know. That's a stretch. A noodle costume, but you could probably also make a noodle costume if you.
I could go
You
to
take
like a
one of
pho
those-
place
Give me all
after
your
dark
noodles. Give me all your noodles.
when they
Wrap
throw
me
it
up
all
like a
away. Yeah.
When they throw it all away.
And then
You
I'd
just
show
stand
up
there
at
and
the
wait, and they chuck it out the window. Okay, I have to sleep.
It's not a noodle costume. You're just covered in a bunch of noodles and soup.
You
just
could make
smelling awful.
I have
dripping.
bugs and
Make a
birds landing on me
ghillie
and
suit.
stuff.
Make a ghillie suit out
Make
of macaroni.
Make a
ghillie
ghillie suit that's
so
just
much
macaroni.
No, I was gonna
You
say
just-
you could.
You know, I think I'm going to be MikeyNoodles for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you did
Unfortunately, or fortunately, it's not
Yeah.
going to change. So that might be a good investment. Like,
Hope you're okay.
what if we have any cosplayers out there who can make me a giant noodle suit?
Almost certainly.
100%.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if you
you're
just
a cosplayer designer, contact me. MikeyNoodles.
are you serious? Will you?
Yeah, I think it'd be sick. I at least want to.
You would
have some
commission
conversations.
a noodle.
We would talk. I would definitely talk about it.
Incredible.
If you
Yeah.
want a real impromptu one, you know those toys that are like the pop-up tunnels for kids?
Yeah.
You could just get one of those and like spray paint it beige or some
Yeah, that's a good
noodle
idea.
color.
Would you make it yourself like one noodle?
Maybe,
Or would you
yeah.
be like?
Flat
Also,
noodle.
maybe make sure to put something else on it, like sauce or a meatball, so that it
Would
doesn't
you-
look like
Would you put like
just
your
this weird nude
your
color
your head
tube.
your head is like a curved macaroni noodle, and like your hands as curved ones.
Putting
and
the
then rest of
nude and
you are,
noodle.
like,
Sorry.
noodle.
A noodly arm guy. Yeah.
Joel did not like that joke I made. I think Joel's the only one that heard it and reacted to it. Yeah. Yeah. Did I make it 3 times? I think I only said it once, but okay. Speaking of Joel, I hope he's okay with me saying this. We were just talking recently about when you were talking earlier about Christian influence and how people have made friends. Even Joel, I was just found out today. Like, there's a
Joel
friend
made a
that-
friend?
Yeah, but no, somebody that Joel
No, on
he
Discord.
looked legitimately hurt.
No, on Discord.
There's somebody that he didn't know from the school or anything like that, and he was just talking about him. I was like, wait. Where's that guy live? And Joel's like, yeah, I just met him through Christian influence. And I was like, dude, it's so cool. It was such an encouragement to me, even just today. I was like, man,
That is
something's
cool.
working.
Yeah,
like
that's
he's got
sweet.
this friend. So super cool.
That
But
is cool.
the showdown, and what are you doing at the showdown?
I'm pretty sure I'm doing Fortnite adjacent stuff.
TO for Fortnite. I
Yeah.
think.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm on the Fortnite floor as well, but
Oh.
I'm not.
I didn't know you're helping out. Cool.
Yeah, I've been there every year.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna
Never seen
bail.
you there.
The year you're here, I'm just like,
There's
I'm out.
I think there's a big update Friday. So
Dude,
You
yeah,
guys think for Fortnite?
there's a massive update
Yeah.
for
So
Fortnite
you guys
on
gonna stay
Friday
the night
morning.
and just
at
start
1.
the update?
morning.
It's at 1 a.m. The new.
Feels like someone should be
Patch.
there at 1 a.m. to just start all the updates and then go home.
It's a big update because it's new
That's what I'm
season.
saying.
Yeah.
Someone should be there.
No,
right
I
at
know,
1
I
a.m.
know.
Oh, it's a whole new season.
It's a new season.
So wait, the game could change when they're going into
That'd
a
be
tournament.
cool.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put everybody like
I'm
on
so
a better
jealous.
level.
I want to play.
Yeah, dude. So the first time
Chosen.
I helped with this, Jamie was like, "Would you guys do like if we did a buy-in one where adults could come do a professional tournament?" And before he was, I was like,
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be so fun. I've never done anything like that, but like a big LAN party from when I was a teenager.
Yeah, I remember
Dude,
those.
yeah.
I remember Halo, dude.
Yep,
we had
Halo.
Halo. And we had the wires all over the house.
Yep. Did you
And
go to
then-
Trevor's one? Sorry.
I was just say the worst was when you had like people who were screen peeking, and you're like, dude, there's no way you knew I was
Yeah,
there.
you just had to be like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we would
Yeah.
do a ton of Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, super
Yeah.
fun stuff. A lot of that is apparently coming to where we live right now in North Carolina. They're building this huge esports arena at NC State. Have you heard about this? Like millions
Feels
and
like you
millions
should
and millions of dollars. Like,
go talk to them.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, get them on board.
But yeah.
It's the satellite gaming arena.
That'd be so cool.
The Christian influence
huge
Christian
huge
influence arena.
sponsorship. We go get a government grant.
Coast.
Go get a
Coast
government
to
grant and be
coast.
like, we need this grant just so we can sponsor an arena.
Dude, it's
You go
like
to
a
the Moda
huge
Center.
arena that they're building. I can't
And
remember.
It's for
the-
video games.
Yeah, it's
Man,
all for
that's
esports. Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be like that. So you guys are helping out on Fortnite.
Yeah, I've
That'd be
always
cool.
been on Fortnite, and because I love it, it's so fun getting to.
You have like a super OP account too, with like every skin.
Yeah,
Dude, yeah, he's got every skin for the first few seasons.
now I have to tell them why.
Jerry got hacked,
Yeah, I got hacked.
Yeah.
I'm not a sweaty
some
Fortnite
guy-
gamer.
and
'cause
some
I'm
guy
terrible
got
at it.
everything for him, and then he got his account back.
Everything.
So it's like reverse hacking.
Dude,
it's
I
like
get to flex
good hack.
on students all the time, or people in Christian films are like, whenever I've gotten to play Fortnite, like Nathan, I was telling him he was kind of mad about.
I
some of
bet
the
he
skins.
was.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
yeah.
basically, all the
bet he
skins you
was.
could get for like a few seasons or whatever, I have them all like limited edition exclusive
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
Dumb, like some Travis Scott stuff that all the kids are all about.
All the
and,
kids.
And I'm like, I don't care.
Dude,
you
I-
know? And
last
I have
year-
it only because this guy from Singapore or Bangladesh or one of those places, like, dude, it was a nightmare though, because at the beginning, I was actually trying to play Fortnite and get back into it, and I downloaded it and was like, whoa, why do I have 999 plus friends and they're all in Arabic or something? Like, what? Or like, I don't know how to read any of this, and why do I have that many? Oh my goodness! Apparently, I got
Rubbing my eye. Like what?
incredible.
I got so hacked. Like, that's crazy.
You're like the guy with the glasses.
So I went in and I went.
No,
and
you did
deleted-
not.
100%. There's no delete all. So I deleted all the friends, and then he kept adding new ones, and so
You
it
guys played
was
at the same time.
it was
That's so. You're watching them add as you.
that
delete
did
them.
happen. That did, because there were definitely ones I was like, I'm pretty sure I already deleted that one. But then he would jump into calls, and he was with someone because he started talking to me through someone else's microphone, and we were in a party because I kept getting invites
Really?
and parties, and he's like, dude, give me my Fortnite account back. And I was like, your Fortnite account? Listen, scrub, this is my Fortnite account. What are you talking about? And he's like, no, I am Major Ricks. And I was like, sure, buddy. And all your friends are, blah, 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 or whatever, like, like you're the only one with an English username. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say the words. I'm just saying, you're telling me this is your account and all of your friends have totally different, like, names in a different language.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So eventually, it is kind of sad because this guy somehow got my account and then thought, like, dude, he was made in the shade with some Kool-Aid, like, the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got it back.
Yeah, I mean, stealing doesn't pay, kid.
No,
it
it
paid
doesn't.
me. It paid me.
Stealing always pays
And now I don't
somebody.
even play the game.
Yeah.
I don't even
Stealing always pay me.
Stealing always pay me.
Yeah.
All right.
That is what I tell
Again.
It's your Fortnite name?
Levi.
Yeah.
Stealing always pay. Stealing
Still
always
always pay me.
Stealing always pay me. Yeah. So all that to say, yeah, I think it'd be fun to do like an adults buy-in game or tournament.
I think that'd be cool too.
It would be
With like a
fun.
cool prize.
We could definitely do that on Christian Influence, but I found out like you can get lobby keys or something to host your own lobby. So that's what, yeah.
But you have
guys are like, yeah,
unless
duh.
unless they've changed it. Unless you're talking about a different way. The way I heard is you have to have an account. You have to be considered an influencer or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to have an account that's
you
got
have
like
to
at
have an
least
account with
1,000
Don't you,
followers.
isn't Christian LLC, Christian Influence LLC or something like that?
It's based on your social media presence. We probably could now because we have two.
If you have enough followers,
we have enough
on-
subscribers on YouTube probably.
Do we?
We have 20.
Go subscribe to the YouTube channel and invite all your friends so that we can play Fortnite.
So we could play Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't know if it might be
Let us play
different.
Fortnite. We like
It might be
Fortnite.
different depending on which social media. Some they might have higher requirements,
Yeah.
but
They don't allow Instagram anymore. Too many bots.
do they? Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. It's probably mostly like streaming, like
Yeah.
Twitch and stuff. So, do we still want to talk about Gamer Apiece a little bit?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So
much-
last time you were here, we did talk about Gamer Apiece.
Yes, a little bit.
This
right?
much. Yeah. Do we want to talk about how Gamer Apiece and Satellite Gaming's event are related? Because there's some crossover there, right?
I mean,
Or is
yeah.
that is that a secret?
I mean, I think I'm definitely going to be looking for gamer pieces there.
Gamer of Pieces or
Peace
Gamers of Peace?
Gamers of peace.
Gamer
Piece
of
of gamer.
A
Pieces.
gamer in many pieces.
Pieces of gamers.
Yes, pieces of gamers.
No, right. So So Gamer Peace is basically this idea, this tool that we go out 2 by 2, just like in the Bible, as Jesus tells us, right? Go out 2 by 2 into video games, meet people where they are, get to know them. We have a whole strategy we built out about like, okay, go in before you go pray, make sure one person is really good at the game and one person's really good at talking so that you can start talking. We have a sort of a rubric of how to move conversations from casual to
simple,
serious,
spiritual.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I had S instead of C, but yeah.
You had C instead of S.
Right, same thing, right? I mean, so what we want, we trialed that out in Christian Influence. We invited a couple of people and we did that, right? So we want to talk about that. We walked through that whole thing for like an hour or two.
Yeah,
and
shout them out, Richard, Lyco.
Yeah,
those were our guys.
Yeah, and
they did great.
Okay, yeah, I didn't hear it. Like, do you want to talk about basically what I think they were playing Albion for a while?
Yeah.
So my understanding, so we wanted to test it out at Christian Influence because this is something that I think, in my opinion, should really be a huge pillar of the future of Christian Influence.
I agree with that too. Because it seems right now.
Yeah,
that's
early on, like Christian Influence was spawned, the idea of it, because Matt was basically doing Gamer of Peace. He's playing with some of his students in Apex Legends or something, and had the opportunity where it was like, because these students are good at the game and because he's there good at talking about the Bible, someone that was in their lobby, he talked to them about the gospel. And it was like, whoa, you can use video games for ministry. That's blown away by it. Or like you can preach the gospel in video game lobbies. And I don't know how we never really came back to that at Christian Influence, because it then became, I'm going to host servers so we can do that. But we never like went, what's the thing that it really started as, which was basically this 2 by 2 thing. Yeah. Until Jamie and you at that Orlando gathering created a little curriculum thing for Gamer of Peace. And then I was like, you and I had been talking for a while, like we should be doing something like that too. We should be training people and encouraging people to go into video games and like kind of like street preaching out in video games to some extent. And then after that, I was like, this is basically what we're talking about. Why are we not doing that? So yeah, but Richard and Lyco, we did that. We had Levi because he had experienced, we had both worked in some of the creation and discussion with Gamer of Peace, primarily you. But Levi had been a student of it. Like his first experience with it, right, was learning it and then doing it at Multiply School. And so we tried it and had Levi teach them how to do it, and they did great. Or I guess as a student and then a teacher of it, how do you think they did?
No, I think they did good.
It went really awkward for you. Like, honestly.
I mean, they did make it. It was a strange decision to.
It worked
for sure, because we had talked about it. Like, you gotta be able to have voice chat, be able to talk to people.
Right. Proved us wrong.
But they were able to get through by just using Albion Online, which doesn't. For those that don't know, it just has a chat. Like text chat.
It's a PC and mobile MMO.
Yeah.
So it's pretty point and click and it's fairly simple in like how you play it, but it has a lot of players.
Yeah.
And they were just like text chatting like, hey, anybody want to do this dungeon? Richard said at first they were like, hey, anybody want to hang out in this area with me and my friend? And he was saying, hey, anybody want to hang out in this a PvP zone?
In the
and so everybody
hey, do you
want to
come?
That's super suspicious.
100% like in RuneScape. It happened to me, by the way. I fell for the trap where you ask somebody, hey, you want to come like do this thing with me? Okay, sure. You follow them out there.
We're taking a shortcut.
All right, we just got to jump over this wall. Okay, jump over the wall. And as I start to, has a big prompt, you're about to enter a PvP enabled area where you can die and lose all your stuff. I'm like, hey, this is kind of fishy. And he's like, oh, no, dude, it's fine. We're just going to go do this thing. I jump over, instantly kills me.
Yeah.
Lose all my stuff.
Yeah.
So Richard didn't realize.
And then, so Richard is just like, hey, you guys want to go to this red zone?
Okay.
Yeah, I was there when they were strategizing about what
Okay.
to do and everything. And it was like, we'll hang out there. And I think there were like resources, like rare resources there, but it was PvP. So they were like, well, we'll defend people who need to do that. And then, which is cool, right?
Yeah, it is cool.
It was really cool
but
to
nobody's
hear
going to believe
It's
them.
a cool
It's like,
idea,
just
but you have
realizing.
to get people to believe it first.
Yeah. So he said like they changed their tactic because they started that way. I didn't realize it was intentional, but he's like, we realized maybe that looks too suspicious. So then he just started saying like, hey, who wants to hang out? We'll just do whatever you want to do. And immediately someone responded, and then they got invited to that person's Discord where they could then voice chat with them. Yeah. So it was really cool because of one of the things in the Gamer of Peace training is like, don't, it's just like don't pick games that don't have voice chat, but it's saying one of the questions you ask yourself when picking, it calls it your neighborhood, right? What neighborhood are you going to go to, which is what game are you going to play? It's like one of the questions you ask is, does it have voice chat? Yes or no? And if no, it's like, okay, maybe find a different one. But they were just like originally going to play a game that did have proximity chat, and they decided, let's do Albion. And then it worked, and it worked way better. Yeah. Levi and I also, alongside them, we knew we only had one game we could play together that was installed, but it's also the game that we've already through testing known is
we had
very unlikely
one
to work.
Success with, well, no,
not us,
technically 2 in total from all the people that we know that have tried it.
But we played 10 games in a row and nobody talked to us.
Maybe we crossed that one off the list now.
I think so. Yeah, we didn't want to do that one, but Levi and I were like,
it was the only game that we had both
that he had installed.
Right. Yeah. So preparation is part of that.
Yes,
sure. Yeah, but
well,
it's good you guys gave it another shot.
There's a game that we really wanted.
My internet's just too slow.
I really want to do New World, but also Hunt Showdown. Yeah, I think Hunt Showdown would be so cool. Work really well.
And Levi and I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. Is like, so in that instance, they went into this other Discord, which was great, and were able to meet people and talk to them and everything like that. And you were kind of touching on that about how did we get off of doing this gamer piece and instead built up these servers and stuff. Well, it's great that we have this now because there needs to be a follow-up. And part of the ending of gamer piece is like, well, build a relationship so you can continue to talk with these people. Right. But I feel like we need to kind of adjust that a little bit where it's like, well, invite them back into a safe place where they can play a lot of different games with a lot of family-friendly gamers, with people who most of them are Christian and Christian influenced, but not everyone. And that's great. Like, we don't want it to be a Christian-only space, and we've talked about that for
We're not doing much influencing if we're just a Christian.
Yeah, place. Right. So it's like, okay, we're not asking you to go out and make a bunch of friends in Fortnite and then constantly play with them and get involved in their life and be sticky and show up in their life, be their friends, that kind of thing.
Is sticky replacing sweaty for the in the term?
No, sticky is you're sticking with that person.
Being with that
you're
guy.
being their friend.
I got it.
Like you're walking.
You're obviously going to play sweaty the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just like, hey, we're going to go out there. We're going to kind of like throw these people a lifeline and say, hey, come back here. There's a cool community here of people who will care about you. And maybe I don't have the capacity to make you my best friend right now, but someone else here hopefully will.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's
and
that
as we keep
finding,
getting exactly.
Yeah.
See, we're stealing all of their like language and stuff anyway.
It's okay. It's open source now in the Waypoints document.
It is open source now. But we do need to make, the community more actively playing on the server, because I know a bunch of people that are part of Christian Influence, but they just don't play on Christian Influence. They go to their own places to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it makes some of the environment look like,
like it's empty.
Like we've only got like 15 people.
Yeah, it's a difficult balance. Like it's kind of a tightrope walking that because I also don't want to go to people and be like, hey, when you play video games, you have to play Christian Influence.
No. I don't want to do that either.
But like, it comes off that way when I ask, like, hey, why aren't you playing at Christian Influence anymore? And it's usually just because, like, there's only so much we can do to curate their experience perfectly. And sometimes people just don't want to be in a open voice channel where anyone could run in and just talk to them, And it's like, well, maybe you should be okay with that because, like, while you're playing video games, you can also have intentional conversations and also be a friend to someone that you weren't a friend to already. But yeah, no, I agree with you. It's just lately it's been trying to figure out how to actually do that. Yeah. It's been very interesting.
And we have the ability to curate a lot of experiences.
For sure.
If you guys just installed a big server rack, we have the capacity to run pretty much any server, any kind of mods. And if people want like RL Craft Minecraft, a really mod intensive thing, we can do that together, and we can do that. And trying to think through like what it looks like to have more of those, but sometimes people are just going to want to play on a private server with their friends. For sure. That's fine. Or they're going to want to go play on a huge server with a ton of people. We don't, so building that network effect is always a problem. But as long as we can kind of make it a place, like there's so much more on the Discord than just games.
Yeah. Pretty soon there's going to be a baking competition.
Ooh, teaser.
Yeah. In June, my wife is going to run an online baking competition as an effort to like encourage people to go do things in the real world, but still get to share it with people on the internet. Cool. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, all of the hobby channels and stuff are like kind of the more active channels, to be honest.
Often,
and it's like, it's so cool to see like people, this guy, he makes candles or whatever. And this lady just made this most incredible bread I've ever seen in my life. And
Canaan's wife?
Yeah. or just like, the home improvement stuff. And it's just like, it's really cool for people. It's like, it's basically like show and tell, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's cool. And that's a great way to get involved in other people's lives. And to
That's
be like,
true.
and like, if you see something, like, comment, be like, oh, that's so cool. How did you do that? Share with them,
There's a guy, I
or
think.
share what you do. Like,
I'll try and shout him out because I might misremember his name. I think it's Bacon Cheeseburger or something is his name. But he's like doing chess tournaments. It's been cool because I've been watching him talk about. I remember when he said, I think I'm gonna get back into chess. And it was like a year ago, and then now recently he just posted a picture. He's like, dude, I got second place in another chess tournament.
So cool.
And I was like, it's just so cool that I'm watching. It's like you're getting little glimpses into people's life, and it really is community. I think that helps really define how it really is community. When you have someone that's just saying. When you can say that, a year or so ago, this guy shared with us and other people, hey, I think I'm going to get back into chess. And then talks about he's playing it. And then he entered a tournament. And he was telling us, I'm nervous. I'm going to go into this first tournament. And he got third or something. And then this time he posted he got second. And I was just realizing when I was looking at that the other day, like, oh, this really is a community because people are invested in one another and talking about that. And I just thought it was very cool. But, I like what you said about how giving them a landing page, kind of giving them a place to go. Because within that Gamer of Peace training, how it talks about, go out into these lobbies, find gamers of peace, and if you don't, go right into a new lobby, right? Just like the Bible says, wipe the dust off your feet and go to the next place. And I was talking to, I think, Joel about that earlier, how it makes so much sense, too, when you think about it, because it's like, it's not a harsh thing. You're saying, like, wiping the dust off your feet is being like, well, I did plant a seed, And when someone's just like, blah, 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 I want nothing to do with you, it's like, it's kind of like God is saying, well, a farmer wouldn't plant a seed and then just be like, grow, come on, grow. It's like, no, you plant it and then you walk away for a while. And then God does the growth.
Right.
So it's super cool. So, you're just going into games, finding these gamers of peace. But all I was going to say was, especially with the way you guys experienced it, it's not like you had a place to send them necessarily. The thing you were supposed to do, and it was really drilled in, right, was make sure you play with him the next day. And that still applies. But I think combining Gamer of Peace in a way that Christian Influence can do it that might be different than something else, like maybe Satellite Gaming, or Satellite Gaming has ways to do this as well, but something that makes our Gamer of Peace efforts maybe unique is that, when we go out and do that, we have a place to send them. So I think that's a great point.
I'm not going to be there all the time, and people.
But
but there's always people online playing.
Always.
There's always people in the voice chat. There's always people that are up for games and stuff. And if we can, like, I think right now some people are like maybe not sure because historically we haven't allowed people to ping big roles and say, hey, 5,000 of you who play Fortnite, I want to play. Does anybody want to play? But we're actively encouraging that now. And
ping them. I think if people spam it, but that's not okay. But ping them. Absolutely.
Okay. I think it's okay.
To spam it?
To spam it just like 5 times in a row at all these people.
At Fortnite. Do you guys want to play Fortnite? 5 minutes later, at Fortnite, nobody responded. Do you guys still want to play Fortnite? Or does anybody want to play Fortnite? Whatever. It's fine.
But, so that's
I just
Gamer
get a ping
Peace.
every single time. Gamer Peace. Love it.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing.
I think it will be, like we said, a pillar of what Christian is, and it should be. If we're creating this community, a huge part of why we do other things. Like we kind of have all these branches, but the ministry is the community on Discord, right? And then we have branches like content, this and our other podcast and
of Lore and Legend.
Yeah, go
D&D
check it out.
podcast.
If you like D&D podcasts, I've heard it's very good.
We have the watch-alongs too on the.
We do,
dude.
So come and watch it with us. It's super fun.
Such a great event. More people need to go. Poor Richard has too often been there, playing the episode, and spent the whole time alone.
But it's
don't
lovely.
let Richard be alone. Don't let Richard be alone.
Don't
go
let
to
Richard
that event.
Become a Richard.
Yes. Don't let him be alone. Go to that event. It's so cool. It's like every time I've been to it, I'm like, man, it's like watching a movie with friends.
It is.
And it's super fun.
And you can talk though on the through the chat,
Yeah.
which is my favorite.
And now we've changed the event. It used to be every Saturday, and they were just going through the episodes, but now it's once a month. When a new episode comes out, you get to go like basically to a premiere with people and listen to it and hang out and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know what I was saying, but we have these branches, right, of the ministry, but the ministry is fostering community, right? And I think Gamer of Peace is just, it makes sense. It would be an even more intentional branch of the ministry, right? Going out into games and preaching the gospel is the goal, right? And then bringing them into community. So,
yeah, and if that's something that, if you're listening to this and you're interested in that,
please
contact us, let us know. And like we have trainings. We have a lot, like we will sit and work with you and make sure that you are comfortable sharing the gospel with people. We have the always going stuff that I think we're going to do here pretty soon for everybody, where it's like just thinking the whole way through what it looks like to share the gospel, to share your faith, and how to always be living like that. And if you're not here or someplace, like, that's totally fine. This is a long journey, and we're here to help each other and to exhort one another. And it's okay to not have the words or not know. Like, we will help you.
Exactly.
Everybody will help each other on that. But, you know, maybe you are somebody who's like, look, I like video games. I love playing video games, but I also love Jesus. How do they mesh together? Well, maybe this is what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Come join us, talk with us, go into video games, meet people, share the gospel with them, invite them back to Christian influence, and change their life.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I guess this is like an open invitation. I don't know if you were meaning to do that,
no,
but open invitation to anyone on the Discord.
Hit me up.
Or if you're just listening to this on YouTube or whatever, and you're like, you know what, that would be cool. Like, you know.
Yeah. Join us at,
Go to the Discord if you're not there.
/Christian Influence.
Yeah, you'll find our names towards kind of the top of the list, either admin or owner of that section. MikeyNoodles, Mage, and Dude Von Toad. Send us a message. And if you do, we'd love to get you into... We did kind of a test training with just 2 people, right? And the goal of that was to be like, can we effectively teach this over Discord? And it was kind of like, well, duh, but let's just try it out. And it worked really well. And so I want to do another one, and we'll do like at least 6 people or however many we can get, right? And then break up into teams and spend the better part of a day going and doing that, and then getting more data about how it works, and then also having hopefully some stories to tell each other and to encourage each other with, right? Of people being brought in. And that's not even the goal, right? The goal is really to get those people surrounded by Christians.
But I mean, it's awesome too, because like sometimes I'll play games and I'll be like, I just sat here for like 4 or 5 hours, and like, was this the best use of my time? And I'm not saying don't play video games. I'm not saying anything like that. But like, this is a way that, for me, this is a way that cool, I can do the things that I really love here, like talking about Jesus, talking to people, and hoping to share the hope that is within me. Right?
Amen. I think a part of there is something that most people will experience as they mature in their relationship with Christ, and it is, you start to go like, man, this thing that I'm doing that I still love, and it's not like it's inherently wrong. Why do I feel almost like it's hollow and empty? Like when I started going to church again and having people hold me accountable, and I was like, I really want everything I do to glorify God. And then I went to D&D one night and was like, why am I wasting my evening sitting here playing pretend? It was like the first time I always like defended when people be like, oh, you're playing pretend as an adult, you loser. I'd be like, no, it's experiencing story, and it's so right. But I was sitting there, and I was starting to feel like I'm playing pretend, and I'm wasting God's time that He's given me. And I just, quite a few things in my life started to feel that way. And some of them should have felt that way. And as a result, they got cut out of my life. But then that one, I started feeling like, man, it's not like it's bad. I'm not doing something, and I am doing something where I'm being with my friends. And this has been something in my life that actually has been good. It has held some of my friendships together. And because of that, like, we've been edified. And so it's like, I was really struggling with it. And then an idea was just, through Matt and Levi and I, we were talking about what if we turned it into a Christian podcast, because we were about to start a new campaign. And actually, I was really considering not starting with the thing was always going to be, we're going to start a new one, but I was really wrestling. Like, I don't want to waste God's time that He's given me again. And what if there's something He's calling me to do, and that's the time in my week or whatever that it needs, and I don't do it because I'm doing this, right? And I was really struggling with that.
And at the time, we had just started cutting out all of our listening to D&D.
Yeah, I had stopped listening to all those D&D podcasts I was listening to because they were so bad. And so it made, in retrospect, it's like, oh, God was showing me, there's a bunch of bad ones that are horrible influences on Christians. And then you're about to start a whole nother story. And then we just had this conversation that was, not even really adjacent to that, about like, oh, what if we did a D&D podcast? And I was like, I don't know. I'm already thinking about not doing D&D. And then I thought about the reasons, and it was like, oh. It just all clicked. And then I went through months and months of imposter syndrome, being like, I'm just convincing myself of this, because I'm trying to. Yeah, there's two versions of me in my head. One's tricking the other one, which is the real me, into thinking that I'm just doing this for God, but really I'm actually doing it just to say I'm doing it for God so that I can get away with doing it, which is
God will still use that.
Really dumb. Yeah, he still uses it, and then he just showed us by tons of people joining the Discord and getting involved because of that. And it's like, oh, okay, no, you can do things that you like and do them for God.
Yeah.
Just because I get that way, I like this must mean it's bad, or like this is easy must mean there's a hard way that's the right way. That's not always the case, so.
Yeah. And I mean, that conviction from the Holy Spirit about the time that you're wasting on things that you used to enjoy, and you still might enjoy them, and that's what happens as we're sanctified. That's what happens as we go down this walk. And what I found is that more often than not in my life, I will be convicted about that thing and about that time, and then I'll say, okay, God, and then it's like, no, he'll still allow you to do that.
Yep.
He can still, but he'll use that, and now you're like, this is even more fun. It's way more fun to play video
100%.
games now
Yep.
when I'm doing Gamer of Peace stuff than before when I was just by myself
100%.
being alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like he's asking you that conviction. He's getting you to that point, being like, "Will you throw this over the cliff? Are you willing to give this up for me?" It's like Abraham and Isaac, kind of.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give up something that you love? I mean, that's way bigger of an example, but that demonstrates faith. Can I give this up? And one of them for me was I was so obsessed with listening to D&D podcasts. One of them, and it was just like a part of me. I had so much. I think back on it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, dude. But I had so much of their merch and stuff, and now I would not want to have anything to do with that show. But I remember just being sitting there, I spend 4 hours a week watching this show, and every time I watch it, I walk away feeling a little bit dirtier, and that's not good, And so, and then it was right after that where I'm like, do I have to? Is it baby out with the bathwater here? Is D&D, the game itself? But no. So
yeah. I mean,
are you willing to give things up?
Right.
And it doesn't mean that God will still make you give it up, but if you're willing, then you better.
And you have to show that. And maybe this is going too far, but I believe that's what it was like for you before Jerry, you met Perry. And that
was I willing to give her up? Is that what you mean?
No, willing to give up this
to sacrifice her, or
give up this idea of this is what I want, and okay, God, fine. If you don't want me to be in a relationship or whatever, I'm gonna give my life to you. And then he was like, cool, great. Now that I know that, here we go. You know what I mean? Yes,
it's very true. I try to be careful too when I tell people that, especially people that desperately want to be married. It's like, well, it's not a recipe. And be like, as soon as you give it up, then
now I'm
God,
gonna trick God.
Yeah, now God will give it to you, right? But it really is
the Jewish light switch.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Jewish dimmer switches.
Okay, I wasn't allowed to say that Mormonism is a cult, but you guys are allowed to say that they are trying to trick God, which is true. But they would Jesus. Not say it is. Whoa,
I'm sorry.
Timestamp on that one. Cut that out. So yes, it is true though. Marriage was an idol. Was my idol my entire life since I was 10 years old. I was like, all I want is to be an adult as soon as possible so that I can have a wife and have kids, because I just want a family, and it just festered, and I just basically I was dating in high school just because I wanted that, and it's it's dangerous, and then I didn't date out of high school because my high school girlfriend and I broke up, and then I was just always so fixated on that idea of being married. It's I wasn't over that relationship, and also just so focused on being married. And then it was around that same time, and when God was radically changing my life, that it was like, oh, I am idolizing and worshiping marriage in this weird roundabout way. I've talked about this on the podcast a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, I didn't mean to make you go back and share.
It's traumatic.
All I was.
No, I don't mind. There might be people that listen to this episode that have never heard me talk about it, so it's not weird to say it again. But yeah, essentially, it was like God. I remember having this distinct conversation with God, saying, God, I guess I should be honest. I have loved the idea of marriage way more than I've loved you, but you are showing me very clearly that I should love you, and I actually believe now that I would be okay never being married if it means that I get to be in a relationship with you, like always in unity with you. And I honestly mean that now. And I remember the day standing at church, like worshiping and thinking that and going, whoa, I do believe that. You know, I've thought it a few times because you hear a pastor say that and I go, oh yeah, the idol of my life is marriage. Would I be okay? Sure. But just thinking it up, like the Holy Spirit prompting me and that coming to my mind without someone saying it and then going, oh, I believe that, because there's this overwhelming peace that I couldn't explain. And yeah, it's very true. So that's true of everything in your life, right? If you
make an idol out of it,
give
it up to God, and then more often than not, like you'll reframe that thing in a way that glorifies God. And you know, and yeah, you're right. It's not a recipe. If someone's struggling with that, don't, you know, like, but be genuine.
Yeah.
What you're idolizing.
I'm not telling you the trick to get a wife or a husband if you want one is just tell God that you'll give it up. No, it's like in all things you do.
Yeah.
Love God most and be willing to give anything and everything up. And then guess what? Your life will be exactly how God wants it to be, because you're just doing what he wants, right? If you're always like, yeah, I'll give anything up for you, God, and I mean it, then you're going to give things up that he doesn't want, and then things are going to be the way he wants, and it will always be better. 100%. So, sorry I cut you off.
That was really good. Yeah.
No. Sorry.
No, that was, yeah, no, I got nothing.
Should we end it there? I bet you it's going to be way later than I think it is.
Wait.
I was just gonna
cult or hypercult?
Cult or hypercult?
Yeah.
Cult or hypercult?
Cult or hypothetical?
Hit me with your answers again. What were they?
We both said the Advents were
the Advents, the Branch Davidians.
The Branch Davidian is the real cult, is what you're saying?
And the Visionaries were...
You don't remember, dude?
Visualizers.
Oh, nice.
Got it on one click on each one that
awesome.
time.
Oh, that was pretty good.
You guys are both correct.
Yes.
You each get a point. You have a point on the board for the season now.
Yes.
Yes. Cult or hypothetical. The Branch Davidian was a real cult. I ran these by Perry earlier, and it was way too easy, and she helped me fix them. But apparently not enough. But I took
they were tough.
I took out some details, like Waco, Texas.
I mean, I knew
You looked like you had heard of it. When I started talking, you were like,
Branch Davidians, yeah.
You've heard of those?
I watched a massive deep dive
name.
on
Bummer,
Waco.
man.
Yeah.
So the hard thing about this game, it's surprising how bad Levi has been at it. But because Levi, when we first talked about it, he's like, dude, I've watched a ton of Wendigoon videos about cults and stuff. So
No, I have not watched the Wendigoon videos about cults.
Sorry, but like
I had
you were
avoided
like,
those.
I had
But I had
assumed-
watched...
Yeah.
I watched his big breakdown on Waco, and I've seen other things on Waco.
I thought you said you watched the Cult Iceberg.
No, I did not.
Oh.
I had said that, and then you were like, "Oh, don't watch it then, so that
That's
you
right.
have to play the game."
I remember.
And I'm like, "Okay, I guess I can't."
It's
watch
just
the,
the
Cult
subject
Iceberg.
matter to me is something I would assume you would have heard of a fair number of them.
Yeah.
And today, the one I went with seemed like I honestly was writing today, and I was like, I bet you Mike is going to know this for sure.
I was wondering if you were going to say Waco or
think-
not as you started, because I was like, that would be a dead giveaway for it
Yeah,
to be
I
real.
took that out.
Yeah.
Just today. Yeah, I don't have to include every detail, but
I mean, it's the naming. I think if you work on the name for
Yeah.
the Visionaries a little bit more, because that sounds like
visualize.
a band or
So
something.
visualize
It sounds
is
like a
real
EDM
also.
band.
Except not real. I didn't make it up. I added to it and rebranded it. It's from a TV show called The Mentalist. Awesome crime show if you haven't seen it. But in The Mentalist, there's this like a story arc about this cult, and I was like trying to figure out like I got to come up with something. I thought, it'd be cool if I could just kind of slightly change some things. But I didn't change the name. The name is Visualize. But I did take out one thing that's clearly like, oh, this is a TV show plot, which is that the guy that made it is killed by his assistant, and that assistant takes over, and then that guy is killed and is assumed by his
It's like the
assistant.
Sith.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say the Sith.
I was like, oh, that's really culty. I'll put that in. I was like, no, that's like really culty in a way that TV shows make a cult up. So
Well, I
took
thought
out.
that it was all a trick question, and that they were both going to be cults because you put in the Branch Davidians, or you were going to be like, I changed some of the details
No,
on the
'cause
Branch
we've
Davidians,
said-
so they're not real.
No, we've said from the beginning the game cannot be played that way.
Yeah.
Like the real one can't just be like it's a real one, but you change the number of people that died or whatever. So no, if you think you've heard of it before, then and you have, like, it's real. I won't do that. That would be cheating. Until next time, I'll do it. But I'll do it just to get Levi. That's how you win. You tell someone you're not.
What are you talking about? I literally have lost every single one except for
in this season.
These
you won.
4.
Yeah. All right. Coulter hypothetical. You guys did it. Well done. Clap for yourselves.
And Jerry lost points.
I'm still at 0. Still at 0. Levi, you're at 2 points. Mike, you're at 1. Poor Jarrett, not on this episode, also at 1 for the season. So Levi is in a pretty incredible lead.
What can I say?
Which is great. I mean, season 4, I've never seen
It's my glow
a
up.
more fatal loss. Like just in any organized sports or anything. I've
That's
never seen
harsh.
someone lose as bad. Well, you never made a single point.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So I really
There was a game of professional league
The
that
point of
went
me
that way.
saying that is that Levi, I'm first of all incredibly proud of you, and second, dude, this is a redemption arc.
I've
like
never-
unlike you know,
I have never seen
hitherto undreamt of.
I have never seen anyone perform this badly in anything in my entire
I
life.
had never.
And I am so proud of you.
I'm proud of you for winning. I'm not proud of you for losing.
That's what it came
And
across
now,
as.
season 5,
you just followed that
This
up with I'm
hitherto
so proud of you.
undreamt of redemption arc.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
dude.
facing the Giants. Sorry,
Call
get
me
out of the
David.
way. Levi's Coulter hypothetical appearance. All right. We love you very much. Go to discord.gg/ChristianInfluence. You can chat with us and other people about the show. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe. You know all this stuff. I don't like saying it. It makes me want to puke. We love you very much.
Roll the outro.
Nice job, Joel.
Well done, Joel. You can hit stop recording.
Yeah, you can stop.
We'll leave that in.